right, so I have another rum here today from the Rum Depot, which is the probably premier rum selected store in pretty much all of Germany. I come here a lot. I've been coming here since 2012, and I'm going to continue coming in all the years from now till the rapture, I suppose. The thing is, just around 2012, Dirk Becker, the owner, started to produce his personal indie bottling line of rums, and this now is number 63. And it is the Rum Club Private Selection number 63, which is rather interestingly named the Beast. And there's just so much to tell you about this, I should just get right started. First of all, it's a blend, and you're not told anything about it. In point of fact, on the part where it's, you normally would see the distillery of make or the marks or anything like that, all you see is encrypted, which you might argue is him channeling Yoshiharu Takeuchi's encrypted series of Japanese rums, but no, this is just like, you simply don't know what's in there. And he's not telling me anything, and he's not gonna, which is really kind of nice, because you have to now focus on what's actually in the bottle without trying to raise your expectations on whatever it is that you see on the label that then tells you to expect this or that or the other, which is by itself quite interesting. But let's just look at the specs. So there's anywhere between, there's more than 10 but less than 15 components to the blend, and he's not telling me which countries they come from. One has to simply take it on faith and then kind of guess it. He made this on his own after experimenting a bit. And last night when I tried this for the first time, I sort of joked with him. I said, okay, is this the contents of your chamber pot mixed up with your infinity bottle that you've been going out since 2012? And we had a good laugh about that. No, it's nothing like that, of course, but it really just is a very interesting rum in and of itself. I'm going to get to the naming of it in a minute, but it's bottled at a rip-snorting 62%, and that's no joke. The interesting thing about the fact that you know nothing about is it channels something of very slow-moving ethos that I see gathering some steam of late, which is that some bottlers don't like telling you what it is that you have in the bottle. They don't tell you how old it is. They don't tell you what's in it. They simply say, experience it for yourself and then judge on your own. Unfortunately, what that does is it makes it necessary for somebody like myself or others who have tried it to actually put some information out in the open, which I can't do because there really isn't that much to go on. But Romero out of Calgary did the same thing when they refused to tell me how old their rum was because they didn't want me to concentrate on a number, simply how good what they had actually was. And I have a feeling that the same sort of mindset is at work here. So, right, so we've got a blend of rums from around the Caribbean and further afield, anywhere between 10 and 15 rums. And interestingly enough, the age range of the individual components, which we don't know, is between 9 and 24 years. So, I mean, you've certainly got a lot going on here. And one has to be careful with this kind of thing because the more rums that you have inside a blend, the better the blend actually has to be. And at that point, let's see what we've got in here. This is now probably the third or fourth time I'm trying a glass. No, I didn't do this, but, I didn't finish all of that, but certainly I had my share of it last night. And quite frankly, I think it really is quite interesting. So the nose immediately is a combination of street thug dressed in Hugo Boss kind of thing. It has that both uncouth nature as well as some smoothness and some interest to it, right? My initial notes from last night, and again when I'm trying it again this afternoon, is that it's wet shoe leather or rubber boots that have had water standing in them for far too long. There's some glue, there's some pencil shaving, there's some wax and crayons and honey in there, and somewhere some floor polish perhaps, but that goes away really fast, and even some of the meatiness of the background also disappears quite quickly, which is then replaced by notes in the nose of, well, I'd have to say some sweetness of coconut shavings. There's some ice cream in there, vanilla, green Thai mangoes lending a little bit of bitterness. It's a bit astringent. It's very, very dry, right? But the fruits like papayas and watermelon and guavas are really quite evident here. The honey is a nice touch. There's some licorice and wax and blancmange. And overall, this is really quite an incredible nose. For 62%, I mean, my God, you don't normally get this much. Normally it just hurts you, right? And yet, at 62%, the thing goes down really, really easily. I mean, you can sip this from now till sundown, and you're just never going to feel that you're drunk or even slightly tipsy or 3 sheets to the wind until you try to get up and you realize you don't have any legs on. It is that smooth. It is that warm and easy. Firm, yes. Sharp, no. That is a good thing. Again, it's very dry. It's fruit forward, in my opinion. It's, in spite of its acerbic nature, it reminds me sort of like a liquid Professor McGonagall kind of vibe to it. The primary stuff I'm getting away from, though, is it's got dates, it's got some figs, it's got spices of cinnamon, vanilla, a dusting of nutmeg. I'd have to go as far as that, right? But it's also got some sawdust and some slight brown sugar and honey notes. That wax from the comb is right there, front and center. The papaya is still there. I mean, for a blend, and I have a real problem with blends as a general rule, because I remember the Ocean's Atlantic blend of something like 7 different types of rum dating back 10 years or so. And this is a company out of the Canary Islands, which tried to make a blend with Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, Belize, Dominican Republic, Guyana, Jamaica, Barbados, Martinique, and so on. And I mean, it just didn't fucking play well together. It just went all over the place. And I only scored that, I think it was like about 81 points. This is an order of magnitude better. And I'm not saying that because I'm in Dirk's shop or anything like that. I mean, we trade our stuff, and opinions are opinions, and this just happens to be mine. But as far as I'm concerned, this is a solid 86 points, and I probably would give it a little bit more, maybe even as high as 87, just because it is a phenomenal rum on its own right. Whether it's a blend and whether you know anything about it or not, the bloody thing is friggin' magnificent, and I really, really liked it. Which brings me to the last question, the Beast. What is that all about? Well, I talked to Dirk about it, and he told me that the intensity of the aromas and the flavors suggested it to him, and the octopus just looks really friendly, and he just wants to give you a hug and tell you, it's okay, drink some more, and before I take you down to the bottom. And I think that just about encapsulates the vibe. But at the end of the day, what I think he's really done here with all of this shit is that he has tamed the beast but retained the beastliness kind of thing. And on that basis, I can't say but that this is just a really good rum to try. And apparently, a lot of people told him it wasn't going to work and it's just complete crap and he shouldn't try. But he did try, and it is almost sold out of the 247 bottles that he made. So if you can get some, and if you still manage to do so, by all means, give it a shot. And I hope you like it as much as I did, because I really, really did. And that's it for today. And I hope to see you again next time with yet another rum from somewhere else in the world. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.